Let's get into the second main topic for this podcast episode, which is going to be Rose Lavelle winning the MVP award for the SheBelieves Cup. So, as you guys know, she won the MVP award. It got announced. She went up to the podium. She received the trophy, gave a little awkward smile. I can't imitate it because only Rose can do that kind of thing. But then she looked really uncomfortable getting this award, and she very humbly said in an interview after the match that she had no idea how she really won the award. She thought there were a lot better options out there, which, one, good on Rose for being humble. It's just, I don't know, it's really, the one thing I really love about women's soccer in general is all the players are really, or at least most of the players that I've seen in interviews seem really, really relatable and really humble and just good role models overall, and this just kind of supports that. And I will say it's like, I kind of agree with her when she says there were better options for this MVP award, but I'll get into that in just a second. Before I give you my take on who should have won MVP, because I don't think it should have been Rose, let me just give you all the names who were on the panel. So first, we had Jean Buklowski, who is the committee chair. Jean is the St. Kitts and Nevis women's national team head coach. I don't really know much about the team in general, so if any of you know, that's the team's name. Also the technical director for South Texas Youth Soccer Association, the U.S. Soccer Federation instructor for coaching licenses as well. Then there was Nicole Barnhart, the former U.S. Women's National Team goalkeeper. Cara Lang Romero, who is a former Canadian striker, if I am not mistaken. Rosana from Brazil, she is one of the former Brazil national team players, one of the former world's best. And then there was Diego Ternez of Argentina, who is an Argentine Soccer Association advisor and also operates in other administrative capacities for Argentine professional soccer. And there's also a fan vote component of it. I'm not sure how much of a component or how big of a role that the fan vote was in the MVP award. All I know is that it was part of the voting process. I couldn't find it on US Soccer's website, so I mean, I don't know if it counts as a committee vote. I don't know if the committee just looks at it and says, okay, whatever, because I mean, when you think about it, there's 5 committee members. You would think it's to prevent a tie, which would make sense. So by introducing a 6th committee member and a fan vote, it's like that would totally compromise that and give it a tie. I don't know if the committee chair's vote would just override it in that case, but who knows? But my overall take on the MVP award, I'm not saying that Rose was not deserving to win the MVP award. I thought Rose played really, really well this tournament. She controlled the midfield and came up big for the U.S. when they needed it most, especially against Canada. If she doesn't score that goal against Canada, it could have been a very different tournament. The U.S. could have drawn. The U.S. could have also drawn the next match against Brazil, and Brazil could have easily won this one. So Rose, I think, was a big part of U.S.'s attack and really facilitated a lot of their play. And the U.S. has proven time and time again that their center midfielders are the lifeblood of their squad, and because of that, it's like I'm not surprised that Rose won it. And plus, a lot of times with these MVP awards, it seems as though that the team that wins it all, that's usually a player from that team ends up winning the MVP award, which makes a ton of sense, right? In the NBA, they do that in the finals. The finals MVP is obviously the player on the team who won it. Like, that's just kind of how it goes. And plus, MVP awards are a really tricky thing, right? Because it really depends on how you define most valuable player. Is the most valuable player the best player that season? Is it the player in which that if you take them out of the team, that it makes the team much worse? It's really ambiguous, and it's really up to an individual's opinion on what exactly defines a most valuable player. So for this committee, the definition could have been different from my definition, from your definition. It all really depends. To me, for my particular take, to me, the most valuable player is the player that when you take them out of the team, it makes the team much worse, and they also help carry their team in such a way. A good example of this, LeBron James in the NBA, for those of you who watch the NBA, he has carried his teams a lot throughout the years, and to me, he probably should have been the most valuable player for like the last decade, but that's a whole nother topic of discussion. I'm not here to talk about basketball, although it's a lot of fun to watch, but because of my definition of the MVP award, my pick would have probably been Debinha. Debinha, to me, and I've said this I think I've alluded to this on the last podcast episode, I think Debinha is one of the top 15 players in the world. I think she is maybe, I would almost go as far as say she's like top 10 in the world. She has been tearing it up for like the last few years, especially for the courage as well. And for Brazil, she's just been an invaluable resource alongside Marta too. She is crazy in their attack. She tears up defenses. She scores. She assists. She's feeding everybody. In the North Carolina Courage, she's constantly feeding Lynn Williams. Her and Sam Ewis had a really good partnership when Sam Ewis was there. And I think that for this award, I think she got snubbed a little bit. If Brazil ties the U.S. or if Brazil gets into the final or even wins it, obviously Dabini is going to be the MVP. But to me, she just made her team so much better this tournament. And on top of it, she was about 6 inches wide of the post in the first match against Argentina, away from becoming the joint top scorer of the tournament alongside Megan Rapinoe. If she doesn't miss that first chance against Argentina in that first game, she's got 3 goals on the tournament. And in addition to that, she would have been tied in second for assists too, or actually she is tied for second assists in the 2021 SheBelieves Cup. So to me, I think Dabinia would have been the absolute best choice for the MVP award. But then again, like I said, with the way that MVP awards are typically picked, structured, etc., and so forth, I'm not surprised that a player from the U.S. won it, and I'm not surprised that Lavelle won it. Having said all of that, if I had to give the MVP award to someone else on the U.S. Team, and I don't want this player's performances to go unnoticed because I think they're absolutely outstanding and they're emerging very consistently, and they're emerging as some of the best in the world. Crystal Dunn would have been my MVP if I had to pick another U.S. player. Crystal Dunn, this tournament, she's just amazing, and she excels in just about everywhere on the pitch. I've said this before, and I'll just say it again. I think Crystal Dunn's going to go down as the best versatile player in the history of or in the history of women's soccer in general, bar none. The reason being is because Crystal Dunn can play in an attacking position at a world-class level, and she can play in a defending position at the world-class level. I would go as far as say that Crystal Dunn is probably the best left back in the world of WOSO. She crushes it every single game. She defends out of her mind. She's got some good moves out of the ball. She wins one-on-one attacks. She's got like 5 or 6 crosses to the center of the pitch a game. She creates chances. She even scores once in a while. She does it all, and she did it all again in every minute she played in this tournament. She didn't play against Argentina in the last game, so that lowers the sample size a little bit, but I think Crystal Dunn is a little underappreciated and also maybe a little underrated for the U.S., and I wanted to take this time in the podcast to just outline her performances because they're crazy good, and we're seeing greatness on the pitch in front of us, and I just wanted to bring that to light. But guys, that's just my take on the MVP award for the SheBelieves Cup. Like I said earlier, to recap it, I would have picked Dabinia overall for the tournament. If I had to pick another U.S. player, it would have been Crystal Dunn. Then again, for the committee to say that Lavelle was the most valuable player, I don't think they're crazy either. So guys, what are your thoughts on the SheBelieves Cup 2021 MVP award? Do you have any other perspectives that I haven't considered? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below at your leisure. All right, guys, so that'll do it for the second main topic for